Welcome back to the Power of Youth Plus. I'm your host, Myrna. Today we are in the vibrant Renmin University of China Suzhou campus. As a trilingual myself, I've always been in love with languages. My colleague Jackson is going around campus to ask students what is the hardest language in the world. Jackson, to you.
Hey there, this is your friend Jackson. So, what is the hardest language in the world? And why language is a key to the culture? Well, I'm at the Renmin University of China. But wait, Suzhou campus. So let's go and hear what they have to say. What do you think is the most difficult language to learn?
Chinese.
Arabic, Icelandic, French, German.
I studied a few languages. I studied German, French, Arabic, Japanese.
Why Chinese is hard for you?
English, there's a lot of unnecessary grammar and a lot of these things. And so Chinese kind of just cuts out all of the grammar, and it's very jarring for me, especially, and also the tones. The tones are very difficult for me to know them. For learning Chinese, you have to have Chinese friends.
Maybe it's French because I'm learning French now. French have a lot of rules, and that is different from English. I think the thinking style, the thinking methods is different also.
You want to say something in French to our audience? It proves that French is really hard. It's really hard to say. Hey Myrna, I got all of these answers and back to you.
Thank you, Jackson. We have a lot of fantastic answers, I'm sure. But before we get into them, please watch a video for Renmin University Suzhou campus. Everybody, welcome back. As you can see, we are in Suzhou. As a Renmin University alumni myself, it's my first time here in Suzhou campus and my first time in Suzhou as well. So I'm very excited, but I'm mostly more excited because I'm joined with 3 new guests. Can you guys say hello to our cameras?
Hello.
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 Wow, well, welcome guys. Thank you for joining us. You mentioned Sino-French Institute, right? And you're originally from Suzhou, and you're from France, so I can see the mix and the institute. Can you tell me more about this institute for all our viewers who are not familiar with it?
So basically what we do, for 2 years I'm working with students. So we teach them French, so that on the 3rd year they will go to France and learn French, also studying their subjects, so that they will have like 2 diplomas, one from France and one from the university here.
Well, as for myself, I'm responsible in a huge part for the linguistics field, for the field of linguistics at the Sino-French Institute, at my classes and the classes of my colleagues, our students learn a new field. So the Sino-French Institute is a cooperation between 3 French institutions and a famous, prestigious Chinese institute, with our students receiving, as my colleague just said, a double and sometimes a triple diploma.
Wow.
In 2 or 3 languages.
Very impressive. Amanda, you're talking to me in English. You're originally from China. Did you also learn French here?
Yeah, so like we said, we are students here in Sino-French Institute. We are all trilingual because we speak Chinese as our mother tongue and English, of course, and also French because in the first 2 years of our college, we are required to get to the level of B2 of the French test called TCF, and then on the 3rd year we will go to France, do 1-year exchange at 3 cities: Marseille, Paris, and also Montpellier.
Fun. Super fun, right? Well, as you all know, I am a language fanatic. I love languages of the world, so this episode is very special to me as well. As you watched earlier, Jackson has went around campus and asked students this question: what is the hardest language to learn? So if you can ask our guests today, who would like to start first? We have our top 5 answers. What language do you guys think is the hardest language to learn?
I have an idea because I know. Okay, let's start with Chinese.
Are we sticking with Chinese? Congratulations, Chinese is the #1 answer. All right, can anyone guess #2 hardest language in the world?
Will it be like French among the top 5? But I'm not sure.
French is among the top
Oh,
5.
really?
French is the number 4th answer of the hardest language to learn. So well done. All right, Hugo, I'm leaving this question to you. Anything.
Our students, I was about to say, but I am biased. That's why I would say Russian. Is Russian anywhere? I don't think so. No. But I would say Arabic. Yeah.
Congratulations, Arabic. My mother tongue, Arabic, is the number 2 hardest language in the world. They've always had like a comparison saying which language is harder, Arabic or Chinese. And I always believe in, I think both are equally hard, but I do think Chinese is taught more in the world. So there are different methods of teaching Chinese to make it a bit more easier for, I think, international students to learn. But I do think Arabic, no matter how you learn it, it is still super difficult. 2 more, let's see.
I know what linguists think about the difficulty and the complexity of languages, but I'm not sure. My wild guess, daredevil guess, is Hungarian, but it's not there. I'm sure it's not there.
It is not there, Hungarian, unfortunately.
Finnish is another one, which is...
Finnish, no. There are 2, but I do think they're quite hard to guess. Amanda, you want to take a try?
Danish, maybe.
Hold on, wait, hold on. I'm questioning my geographic skills right now. Yes, it is in, is it in?
Icelandic, maybe?
Yes, well done, well done. Icelandic is the number. I would love it if we can have a whole debate about the hardest language in the world. I would love it. All right, 1 left. Who would like to take a wild guess?
Whoa, still in Europe?
In Europe.
In Europe.
In Europe, yes.
Very difficult language.
You're both surprised that the hardest languages are in Europe. Do you want me to give the last one? Do you want to give a last try, Amanda, before I give you the last answer?
Polish.
Polish? Do you think it's Polish?
It is. The hardest language in the world as number 5 from this is Norwegian. Well, since we have the top 5 languages in the world, we have Chinese here, we have French language here, we have Arabic. Perhaps in the future we'll have 2 more guests from Iceland and Norway to make the talk more exciting. But today we'll focus more on Chinese and French since we're talking about, French Institute. So I'd like to ask you all, why do you think, for Amanda, for example, let's start, as a student, why do you think it's important to learn a second language?
Yeah, I think because if you only know your mother tongue, it somehow constrains the way you see the world and express yourself, right? If you can learn a second language, and third one for me, you can somehow get 2 other ways to see the world, and it becomes more colorful.
Yes, more colorful, definitely. I've always believed that when you travel to a country or you learn the culture, even if you live there, it's kind of like wearing a glasses but like covering one eye. And then you start learning the language, you just see everything more brightly, isn't it? Right?
And you understand also like your people thinking. Like for example, the time in Chinese is not exactly the same. For example, in France, when we say before and after, like it's avant ou après, so basically in front or backwards. Whereas in Chinese, you say xia and shang, which is different. So that make me understanding like time is not actually the same. So yeah, it's
quite interesting. Also, like the way we said earlier, numbers as well, right? Like in Chinese and French. Was it hard to learn French numbers?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Try Danish numbers. They're worse. They're worse than French.
On the list, it might have been number 6. You never know. Oh wow.
Like the 80.
oh yeah, 70, 80, 90.
99, yeah.
Explain to me the 99. What is the thing with 99?
Yeah, like for in Chinese it's 9 and 9, right? But in French it's like 99. It's like 4 plus 20 and
4 times.
4 times 20 and plus 10 and plus 9.
In Arabic, how would you say that?
Oh, it sounds like there's a 9.
9 and 90, literally. It's quite. I think it's as easy as
9 and 90. Okay.
Yeah, the French one that was new to me too. Wow, that's new. That's interesting. So, as you came from France and you're teaching the French language in China, tell me about your classes. Like, what did you expect before coming?
To be fair, the first time I arrived, I was not used to, and I didn't know what I was expecting. As I worked in different countries in Europe, the French was not very there. I would say happiness to learn because they found it difficult, so they were not happy and curious. But here, wow, amazing, fantastic experience. They are keen to learn, although it's mandatory, but still usual, like they're happy to learn and happy to discover and asking so many questions. So no, I'm impressed by their progress they made through the current year.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you have like a big expectations about like what the students' level would be like before you came?
I had very, very high expectations. Well, first of all, while I was working in France, I always had Chinese students, and they were hardworking and very good students. But I also knew that Renmin University was one of the top universities in China, so my expectations were very high, and they were met. Those expectations were completely met.
Tell me, being here in China, is it okay to go by your day without learning Chinese? Like in Suzhou, do you think?
The first time I thought so, because I work in the second year and the French were amazing, so I just don't feel so much the use and the need. But then I found it something was missing and lacking, and I love China and I love learning languages. So no, I starting thanks to students helping me, practicing a little bit, and my friends. And this university offer the possibility to learn Chinese too. So if I don't learn Chinese, it would have been difficult, I think, just a little bit. So no, I think we need to learn a little bit.
I know you speak French, but you're originally from Russia, so you grew up also speaking Russian.
Absolutely.
And you speak English, and being in China, you learn Chinese. Which one of these languages did you learn as an adult?
Well, I had started learning Chinese just before coming to China, because I didn't want to be completely lost in China. It was out of the question for me to just stroll around without speaking Chinese. But well, I started learning French at the age of 13, so not unlike a little. It's not the same as you, but still, when I was an adolescent already. So that was more difficult for me.
Yeah, I'm sure when you're a child, it's much easier, but as adolescents, it's also very hard. So you learned French at adolescence. What do you think made it easier for you to like learn the language?
Oh, aspirations, being stimulated by this idea, this dream to one day come to France, just like our students, by the way. Yeah, and then in Russia we read a lot of French literature, and I'm very old school. I like books, reading books, grammar and stuff like that.
What's wrong with that? It's good.
So yeah, so in music, also cinema, la nouvelle vague.
Cinema, yeah, for sure.
Everywhere.
Let me ask, since your day-to-day, a lot of it involves in-class lectures and in-class talks, I would say, with each other. Is there a moment that is really like unforgettable in your 1 or 2 years, or in your 4 years experience here? Does anyone like to start first? Like an unforgettable moment in class.
Experience then, both of us.
In learning French, do you have a moment where you were like,
well, sometimes it just depends, like my students struggle with D, T, and then sometimes the pronunciation of the past tense, le passé composé, which is quite a trigger, and especially they want to say I played. Their pronunciation can have a pronunciation could be, I would say, in France we have dirty minds, and it's, yeah, I'm sorry for that, but it's true. So whatever the pronunciation, sometimes you can have an issue. I don't know if you...
Yeah, plenty of.
Yes, exactly. So sometimes students will nicely say a sentence, and I was like, are you sure what you're saying? And say, yes. I was like, oops. So I have to, at the end, speak to him, and he was like, ooh. Very embarrassed, but we make fun, and same for me. It happens.
it's nice that he had like the confidence, I think, to say it.
Yeah, exactly, and I didn't laugh but I was surprised. I was like, are you sure? He said, yeah, I know what he means. I'm like, really? And then that's how we come. So yeah, sometimes it happens. It's fun.
It's always a fun moment. In linguistics, I assume, do we have fun moments happening in class?
Serious note, I was just about to say one serious note. I'm always very, very happy when, after a series of questions that lead to something more imaginative or more profound, I ask the question of the semester or the question of the month, and someone in the class gives me the right answer. That is always the most liberating moment for me, like an achievement. Oh, I wouldn't be able of giving you the exact question right now, but when you go very, very deep in learning something and then they give you the right answer, that's absolutely fantastic.
It means like they really like your class and they've been listening like the whole year.
There have been a couple of students who actually gave the right answer, so yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
That's nice. Have you had any fun, embarrassing, or exciting moments during your 4-year experience?
It's a tasty moment, and it's when we were also having linguistic classes during 1-year exchange in France, and I remember it was in March, and during the La Fête of Galets de Roi.
Ah, c'est délicieux, la galette de roi.
Yeah, it's it's a festival where the French, they will eat a cake, but inside they will hide, like we Chinese will hide a
coin in the dumpling.
Yeah, like that. They will hide it inside of it. And it was in March, and during that festival, our French teacher, she gave us a cake and let us separate it. And guess who has the coin inside? And not me. No.
What was inside? What do you put inside?
It depends. In the south, usually, in the south, they usually put little saints or like les santons.
So now we have different figurines. So it's like it could be someone from a film.
A toy made of porcelain.
Yeah, exactly. It is in porcelain.
Can we use one word, for example, and then we can see how we say it in different languages? For example, if we can choose a word together. What do you guys think? The word.
Yeah, but I have to confess that I know nothing about Suzhou dialect.
Oh, that's okay. We'll leave Mandarin. We'll leave Mandarin for you.
Okay.
You have 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. What word can we have? Cake, for example.
Oh. In French is gâteau.
Gâteau. We say that sometimes in Arabic too.
Oh, okay.
What about in Russian Danish?
In Russian, it's tort. It's not that
Torte.
complicated.
Ah, il ressemble à tarte.
Because it's
Arabic, it's kaka. Okay, so as a final question to wrap up, with the world, I would say, being more integrated together in this day and age, we can have French teachers in China teaching French, we can have Chinese students, we can even have Chinese teachers from China in France teaching Chinese, and the rest of the world as well. What, in your personal opinion, what do you think is the importance of language in this day and age? We can have like a 1 minute to think about it if you want.
What is?
The importance of language in this day and age, in general, or to you, for example.
For me, I would say what the point of learning languages is understanding the culture and the mind, how it is. By learning a language, you also learn not only the culture, because if you go to a country, you don't learn the language, then you miss out something. By learning a language, you also learn more than just history. You learn about their philosophy, you learn about all the custom that we don't know. And also, I don't know, anybody when they talk to me in French, although they say, oh, my French is not so good, I'm so happy. So that's why learning a language helps to create and link with people. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
And I can see like you're happy when someone speaks French, like you just glow up. And stuff. For Hugo, who speaks many languages.
My answer is going to be boring, but quite concise. I think learning a language, well, I agree with everything Diane has just said, but also language is somewhat like mathematics, so it helps you organize your mind. And with each new language you learn, you organize it a little bit better, you expand your ways of thinking.
Looking from a professional standpoint of a linguistic professor.
Exactly.
For Amanda, same question, but I also want to ask, in the future, from your young perspective, what do you think you can do with all these languages?
Yeah, I think even nowadays we have internet, which helps to build connections. But I think also in the same time we have more misunderstandings and something like that. But I think learning another language helps us to remove such misunderstandings and even defense like that. Because if I try to, for example, to speak in French, it better helps me to understand and communicate with them compared to use like English or Chinese with translators like that. And yeah, that's for me the point of learning another language in the age right now. And for me, I think as a student in the future, I think, because I think I will do more exchange around the world. I don't know which continent, which countries, but I think I will speak more French and more English around the globe, right? And I think I will use the languages that I learned to better communicate, to make friends.
Yeah, definitely. Making friends, I mean, I have a lot of international friends here in China. They have their own language. I have a friend from France who speaks fluent Chinese. The first time we met, we spoke Chinese to each other, even though we can speak English. Until now, it's been like 5-6 years, we only speak Chinese to each other, which I assume it happens sometimes with, like the first language you spoke with that person, it continues. We may not all be fluent in something, but because it's like the first language we spoke, it kind of sticks. And I think it breaks a lot of like barriers of misunderstanding. Like you said, making friends definitely opens up a new world for people for more understanding. All right, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for watching The Power of Youth, and we'll see you in our next episode.
Bye-bye.